due to the COVID-19 restrictions through the governor's executive orders, all persons wishing to attend the meeting may do so by viewing via monitor in the jury room on the third floor. There will be no public comment segment for this meeting. Also, I'd like to also add to that, and I'm not going to scare anybody by doing this. We are not meeting today, as some rumors say, to put a shelter in place for Wayne County. We are not doing that. That's for the public consumption. There's all kinds of rumors going around. I think all of us may have had calls thinking we were.
Sure did.
That is not, I repeat, that is not why we're here today. Okay. Today we have our invocation by Commissioner Aycock.
Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for the beautiful weather. Pray that you will be with this great country of ours while we're going through this virus, this crisis. Be with everyone, the ones that have been tested and came back positive. Be with them. Be with the doctors and nurses that are taking care of them. Most of all, our first responders, especially our EMS personnel, the front line of us staying safe. We're in a fight, we're in a battle, and they're on the front line. We pray that you keep them safe. We pray that the unnecessary calls will not come in, but the ones that are necessary, we have the right people in place to take care of them. Be with the leaders of our state and our nation as they deal with this virus. Be with our men and women in uniform that protect us. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Before we have the pledge of allegiance, Mr. Pate, I forgot Commissioner Gurley on with us.
I think I heard him.
I heard it.
You need a motion to allow him.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry I missed that.
Mr. Chairman, if I make a motion that we allow Commissioner Gurley to participate in this meeting by telephone.
Okay, we have a motion. All in favor, raise your right hand, please. Okay, motion carries. Mr. Pate.
All right, please stand and place the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, we'll go into our new business, and I'll turn it over to our county manager, Mr. Honeycutt.
Thank you, Chairman Mayo. With respect to Chapter 22 of our Code of Ordinances, and after careful review by our attorney, we would like to recommend the addition of a Chapter 23 to the code entitled State of Emergency. The additional chapter clarifies who is responsible for declaring a state of emergency and what process emergency management staff need to go through when such action is taken. It does not change any actions in regards to the state of emergency that has been in effect as of March 16th, 2020 at 8 a.m. The new chapter only clarifies responsibilities that may have been vague in Chapter 22 of our code, which we have relied upon in previous state of emergencies. Our attorney has recommended these changes out of an abundance of caution to ensure that there would not be any problem receiving federal, FEMA, or federal aid related to the COVID-19. And we present this for your approval.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr.
I
Aycock.
make a motion to adopt resolution.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Any comments? Okay, all in favor?
Question.
Yeah.
You knew I had to have a question there. The question would be that the chair is authorized, any chair going forward is authorized to issue this proclamation of emergency. Are there any limitations to what states of emergency the chair can can order without the approval of the full board.
Well, you've got to have some kind of nexus between what you're saying is causing the emergency. One thing I read that somebody had saying that if you're worried about pirates stealing oil ships over in Africa, that would not give you, the chairman, authority here to declare an emergency in Wayne County. It's got to be something that is with a nexus for Wayne County.
I understand. But I think a lot of people are aware of the fact that I am really concerned about how far some of these statutes of emergencies are going. We're beginning to get into an area where constitutional rights are actually being questioned. And I just want to make sure there are some limitations in regards to the powers invested with one person to declare emergencies.
Board can always meet and change what the chairman does if the chairman is not satisfied with it.
All right, so in the event that the majority of the Board of Commissioners going forward in any way questions that, the majority could call for a meeting and rescind some of those.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to make sure there's a check and balance here. We're giving a lot of authority to one person within the county. And going forward, it concerns me that it's a possibility it could be abused. I was concerned of one county the other day in North Carolina that, in my opinion, went way too far at this stage. We've got to hopefully have some check and balance in regards to how we're using these powers.
My understanding.
With that said.
It's my understanding that in that county, it was clearly brought to the attention of the chairman who made a substantial modification the next.
Oh, he did the next morning. That was backtracking big time. And I was glad to see that. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well, I think it would be correct protocol for a good chairman to check with his board by phone
I agree.
anyway.
Yeah.
Before, I would, of course, like I said, this,
But we trust you, we know you, but we don't know what's coming in the future.
but thank you, but that's, I'm telling you, as long as I'm chairman, this is nothing's gonna happen unless the board knows it.
And that's what we did before the state of emergency was called to begin with. We let the board know that what the chairman and what the situation was and what was going on before it was enacted.
Yeah.
And if I could just follow up, and I won't get too deep in the weeds here, but to follow up, if he did that, doesn't the chairman call the meetings, or how do we do that? What's the procedure? Just put it out.
The members of the board can call a meeting as well as the chairman.
If they can, I just want to make sure that's clear to the public. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
okay. Ms. Daycock, you made
No,
the
sir. No, sir. I made the motion. Let's vote.
Okay. Okay, all in favor of this, consider and adopt Chapter 23 of the Wayne County Code of Ordinance entitled State of Emergency, raise your right hand, please. Mr. Gurley.
I vote in favor, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries.
And with respect to number 2, under new business, motion to declare a state of emergency in Wayne County as of March 16, 2020. This will make it retroactive, what we just passed to that state of emergency that was called for at that time.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand, please. Commissioner Gurley.
I vote in favor, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries.
And number 3 we have is a consideration and set policy for remote meetings. As the board is aware, there's a lot of different restrictions that are being put in place with respect to social distancing. We do not have a policy at this point that discusses solely electronic meetings. And this policy in front of you is recommending that we have such a policy. And again, really the big change in this is when and where you can call for such an electronic meeting is number 2. which says Wayne County Board of Commissioners agrees that electronic meetings will only be permitted when any of the following entities declare that a state of emergency or disaster exists in an area including Wayne County: the federal government of the United States of America, the government of the state of North Carolina through the governor of the state of North Carolina, or other method permitted by Chapter 166A of the North Carolina General Statutes, or the Wayne County Board of Commissioners, or the chairman thereof. The state of emergency declaration or disaster declaration must be related to a distinct event that reasonable persons can agree direct affects what the county of Wayne. And again, if you look at the meeting requirements, they're really the same as any other meeting, and with quorums and notifications.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I move that we approve our policy for remote meetings and rules of procedure for electronic meetings of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, or is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand, please. Mr. Gurley?
I'm in favor, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gurley. Motion carries. Okay?
And
Okay.
then next is motion to adopt Resolution 2020-13, a resolution allowing employees and owners of small manufacturing and essential businesses the ability to travel for work during a shelter-in-place declaration. And I think the chairman would like to say a few words.
Yeah, if you don't, I'd like to address this a little bit. This is something that came from the Wayne County Development Alliance. All of us industries got a email message stating that if we would follow a certain procedure, that we could apply to the state to be an exempt business depending on what we did. And so, but what I want to make clear here in talking to Tiffany Creech at the WCDA, I need to make this clear. Just because a business fills out the paperwork and sends it in doesn't mean you're automatically on the list. There hasn't been a screening process put in place yet to approve your application. But the key is, unless a business, if you don't really know if you're an exempt business or not, I would suggest that you go ahead and apply, because it's not going to hurt anything. Tell them what you are, and we're going to read that here in a minute, about what you need to do to apply as an exempt business. Like, for instance, if you're in food processing, farming, things like that, obviously, in the manufacturing sector, if it's for defense and other things, these would fall into what we call an exempt business. We would be able to continue to go to work as long as your workforce stays healthy. That's another thing. So my point is that this resolution and following through on this application does not guarantee any business that you will be exempt. This will be determined at a later date by the state. Any other comments on this? Any questions?
You ready for a motion?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we consider and adopt a resolution allowing the action as stated.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. I guess, should we read this?
You want to read the entire?
I don't see any.
I don't think so. I don't see
all
a
right.
need to.
You explained it well enough.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Is any more discussion?
I do have.
Yes.
I want you to hear what we're doing here. We are basically saying that an entity, a group, an individual is going to make a determination as to who is going to be classified as essential businesses, who may stay open and who may not stay open. I mean, I'm sorry, evidently I'm getting too old. This is still America. I cannot believe that we are actually doing what we're doing here, but I do understand those are the guidelines that they are putting in place, and I certainly want to see that certain entities do in fact make application, but I just think this is really wrong.
Well, let me say one other thing. This is only if the governor issues an order of shelter in place, okay? That's this, and if he does, then there's gonna have to be a certain number of businesses that, and I understand where you're coming from, but we don't have anything else at this point in time to keep essential business open other than this.
I understand, and that's why I'm about to vote for it, but I want everybody to recognize what path we're going down here.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Why would you close a beauty shop when a beauty shop has got 3 people in it? Think about that for a moment. But now all of a sudden, all beauty shops all across North Carolina are closed. I'm just saying, I understand we have some issues here, but I think that we're going about it. There's some errors in judgment here, but I'll hush.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I received a call hour and a half ago, and I assured the person that I was talking to that we would be following, not making up something on our own as county commissioners here, we would be following guidelines coming from the state, the governor's office.
Yes.
We will not jump ahead, and I hope we won't lag behind.
Right.
But I think what we're trying to do is err on the side of caution. And all these things may sound strange to us, but we haven't been in this territory before.
Right.
We will try to follow the guidelines from the state and manage ourselves accordingly.
Oh, you go ahead first.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes. Take off.
what Mr. Camorra just said is true, but also, we've got staff that are working their rear ends off. They're not putting in 8-hour days right now. We got to rely on the people that we've got in place in this county for guidance also. I mean, that's their job. There's no one sitting up here on this board is qualified to make some decisions without input from our people that we're paying to do their job. And from all I've been hearing for the last couple of weeks, they are doing their job. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Pate.
I was just going to comment on what Mr. Daugherty has said, because it's amazing. I had a phone call 30 minutes before I came up here for someone said, my hairdresser needs to file for unemployment, and she's an independent operator. What does she do? I was in the unemployment business, as most of you know, for 32 years. So I walked her through it. You know, she's throwing her hands up, but what am I supposed to do? And I get it.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit too far. But anyhow,
One last
but I am
comment,
on
that
board.
is this. I think this pandemic will be over with in about 3 weeks, because let me tell you something, when these ladies have got to make, all of a sudden when these ladies' hair start turning gray, I'm telling you, they're gonna put their foot down on this thing.
Well, that's probably the reason y'all president wanted to get it over quick, because somebody need to do something to his hair. But let's just take our time and let the process work. And
Is it time to kick the jury?
No, I was gonna say, Joe, don't you remember those summer afternoons where my sisters, my mother and all, they were doing perms in the house, so it's coming back.
It's coming back.
I bought me a bag of rubber bands so when my ponytail grows out, I can put rubber band around it.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, we have a motion on the floor to adopt Resolution 2020-13. All in favor, raise your right hand, please. Commissioner Gurley. Commissioner Gurley?
I vote in favor, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. All right. Ms. Honeycutt? Yeah, go ahead.
That's all we have at this moment.
Okay. Does anyone have any closing comment? Anything else?
I think I've said quite enough.
Okay.
I do want to say one thing, because I'm on the hospital board, and I am so proud of the medical staff and everybody over there. They are really working hard. The planning that they put together and working with the county. I mean, we talk about them sometimes, but when the push comes to shove, they are top professionals, and they're doing great work over there. Thank you.
And I hear that all over the county, that this Wayne County has come together like we have never come together before. And that's what we need to get over this. Any other comments from anyone?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
as I just said earlier, we got some great employees in the county. I've had one from Kevin Johnson's office to call me and Linda to see if we needed anything. Had a deputy that was on patrol earlier today, saw me standing in the yard and stopped to see if I needed anything. That's the caliber of people that we've got working for us. And we've got good staff, and right now, our first responders, as I said earlier, we're in a battle right now, and they're on the front lines. The sheriff department, our EMS, the fire departments, but, you know, if you see one of them, tell them thank you. It goes a long ways. Thanks, sir.
Any other comment? Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand, please. Mr. Gurley, you want to adjourn?
We done voted him down anyway.
Okay.